Yeah, I'm here for another rant video, and this particular topic was not brought on by anything that's happened to me today or recently. No, this is an old chestnut that I've had in my archives, in my mind, so to speak, for a while, which I've been meaning to make a video on. It has to do with the topic of lateness, tardiness. When people don't give a damn about your time and keep you waiting and think they can do whatever they want with no regard for anyone else. Now, maybe you've encountered a person like this. Many of us have. Maybe one of you watching this is that type of person. And if so, feel free to explain to me why you think you're justified, all right? I got to hear that. There are going to be a few stories I want to relate to you here, and at least one of them is a pretty good story, so I hope you'll stick around for the duration of this rant, all right? Look, the way it is for me is I have always prided myself on being a naturally prompt person. I'm always on time. If you invite me someplace, if you say, hey, I'll meet you at 12 noon, you could bet I'll be there at 12 noon. Not only will I be there at 12 noon, but I'm usually at least 5 minutes, if not more, early, all right? Now, some people may say that in itself is annoying, a person who's always somewhere early. But better to be early than late. The early bird catches the worm. I always believe that. So I'm coming from a place where I'm always prompt. When I go to work, I'm always on time. I'm always at my job at least 10 to 15 minutes ahead of schedule. I mean, it takes a lot for me to be late. Now, I'm not referring to when we have things like car trouble or personal catastrophe or something happens, you wake up and there's a flood. I'm not talking about those things that happen maybe once or twice only every several years or maybe in a lifetime. I'm talking about day-to-day lateness. Now, there was a guy who worked at my job, and he was always 15 to 20 minutes late, without fail. And there was no excuse for it. As far as to be 20 minutes late every single day, leave your damn house 20 minutes earlier. I mean, I always know just how much time I have for washing, for shaving, for, getting this, brushing my teeth, doing that. It just comes natural to me. I notice that some people, they have no conception of time. They have no idea how to budget their time. They don't know what the hell they're doing. But this guy was always 20 minutes late. And what used to crack me up is sometimes at work they would change the start time. And even when they changed the start time, this guy was late. Even if they started, say the start time was 8:30, this guy would always come 8:45. And even if they would have changed the start time to 9 o'clock, this same guy would come 9:15. Had to be late. Always had to be lagging behind. Never could seem to budget his time or figure out how to make it work. All right? Now, I'm going to be talking about a couple of stories. One of them I want to give you has to do with a guy that I'm not friends with anymore. This is many years ago now, and we didn't lose our friendship because of this incident, but it's kind of a really prime example how people just don't give a crap about your time. This guy, he lived about, it was pretty far away from me. He lived about, I want to say 45 minutes away from me, okay? So he was 45 minutes distance from me, and we had arrangements. I remember it was one evening, he was going to come to my house about 7 p.m. on a weekend, I think. He was going to come, drive his car 45 minutes to come to my house and pick me up. Well, this was, I think, the winter time, so like a damn idiot, I put my winter coat on, and I'm standing there. It's like 5 minutes to 7, so what do? Somebody says they're going to arrive at 7 o'clock. I expect them to arrive at 7 o'clock. That's not unreasonable. So I'm standing at my door with my coat on, and I got the door open, the main door, and I'm standing by the storm door, and I'm looking out like this, waiting for his car to pull up. So it's 7 o'clock. It's 7:05. It's 7:10. It got to be 7:15. Now, I'm not a total heathen. I'll be fair. I have about a 10 to 15 minute threshold. I still insist that if you're going to tell me you're going to be somewhere on the hour, you should be there on the hour. I shouldn't have to wait, give you 10 minute, 15 minute leeway. But once in a while things happen, so I'm not totally non-understanding. I will give you a 10 or 15 minute threshold. Now this guy reached his threshold. It was 7:15, no call. And they don't even call sometimes. They don't even call to tell me they're late or on their way. So I'm like, what the hell is going on here with this guy? So I get on the phone, 15 minutes late he is, and I get his wife on the phone, and his wife tells me, oh, he's still working. He had to work late. He's still at work. Try to imagine this, okay? He lives 45 minutes away from me, and he's still working. He's supposed to meet me at 7 o'clock. That would mean he'd have to leave his house 6:15 to get to my house. Here it is 7:15, and he hasn't gotten off work yet, and you were supposed to be at my house 15 minutes ago, and it takes you 45 damn minutes to get to my house. How are you going to make it? You don't know that you're not going to make it? The guy never called, never said anything. So I called where he worked. He worked at a Blockbuster, actually. Blockbuster Video, remember those? And I called Blockbuster Video, and I got him on the phone. I said, what the hell's going on? It's 7:15. You're supposed to be here 15 minutes ago. It takes you 45 minutes to get here. You're not even out of work yet. Honestly, I don't remember what he said. But I'm standing there like a fool with my coat on, looking out the window. Just exhilarating, waiting for the moment to come where we're going to get together, pass the evening together. And he hasn't even left his house yet. That's total rudeness. If you're late like that, you're rude and you're a piece of garbage. And I'm sick and tired of it. I used to have, when I was 19 years old, this is going back a ways, I had a guy that was always a half an hour late. Back then, neither one of us had a car at that moment. So we didn't have a car. So we used to pick a corner and we'd meet on the corner. I'd say, whatever it was, it could be 12 noon, it could be 1 o'clock, it could be 2 o'clock, it could be 11 a.m. in the morning. Whenever it was, this guy would show up a half an hour late. I'd be standing on the corner waiting for this bum a half an hour. And, he wound up having some serious issues, this guy. He had very serious OCD, one of those people who had to make sure the stove was turned off, make sure his hands were washed, make sure he checked the light switch 132 times, did these rituals, one of those guys. So he had problems, this guy. He had some serious ass problems. But what gets me is, if you know you're going to be a half hour late, then start checking your rituals a half hour earlier or an hour earlier. Yeah. Compensate and allow, for your, your problem. Or just do that. I have no tolerance for this. And you know how many times people will show up late, they think nothing of it. They're like, oh, I'll give you an example here. My dear friend Anthony, affectionately known as Anthony. Don't get me wrong. When me and Anthony get together, he's on time, and I appreciate that. He's very rarely late, but there were a few times he'd be late. And when he would come here, I would say, say we had plans to get together at, 10 o'clock in the morning. And we had nothing really special planned. We were just going to get together at 10 o'clock. He'd show up like 10:15 or something. At 10:20, I'd say, well, you're late. What happened? And he'd say, he goes, well, we didn't really have anything planned. Nothing was etched in stone. We didn't have anything specific that we had to do. We just were getting together, Really, my time is valuable, everybody, okay? I'm not going to stand here and wait for you. Many times in my life, I've thought to myself that what I'm going to do is implement a rule. I call it the 10 to 15 minute rule. I stand there and I wait for you. If you're 10 to or maybe 15 minutes late and you don't show up, we're done. I'm leaving. That's it. Or same thing when I pick people up. There's been times where I drive to people's. It's the same thing. I'll drive to somebody's house. I'm going to pick you up. I'll pick you up at 12 noon. I get there at 12 noon. I beep the horn or whatever I do, and they're like, I'll be right out. I just got out of the shower. And I'm sitting there for 20 minutes. So I've never done this. I've never put this into effect. But I really want to make a rule from now on. If you're not on time and I'm picking you up, I give you 10 minutes, 15 minutes. If you're not there, I'm leaving. I'm taking off. That's it. We're done. Same thing if you come to my house. We're supposed to get together at a certain time, and you can't make it there on time, or even worse, you're not able to make it within the 15-minute threshold period that I'm graciously giving you. Forget it, and I'm not waiting for any of you. So do you people encounter this? If you make an appointment with me, please be on time.